Okay, sorry, just realized I'm like coming across really tired, but whatever. Yes. The documents are the reason I had to go back to Texas. I knew I had to at least get the deeds to my properties out of that building. So, that night I stopped at a rest stop and I realized then that there was definitely a car following me that night. It was a gray van. They were definitely following me, and that confirmed like my concern. Not only have I been followed and stopped at various points throughout this, but I'm being followed every minute. Like, okay, they have someone in the middle of the night with a gray van following me. Like, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced up to this point, seriously. So it confirmed my fear that, like, okay, somebody might try to break into my car while I'm sleeping at my grandparents' house. That confirmed my fear, or concern. It's like, yeah, they're watching where I'm at no matter what time of day or night it is, which means I'm dealing with a pretty big conglomerate here. So that's more of like me doing some kind of reconnaissance, I guess. I mean, I'm just trying to go, at this point I already know I'm gonna have to change my whole life, because I wanted nothing to do with anything like this, right? Like, you already feel like this is the mob. And you're like, you want nothing to do with anything like this. You want nothing to do with anything illegal. So I already knew I was gonna have to reorient my whole life just based on the fact that I've been stalked by these people. But then I'm, as new things are happening to me, like that gray van at whatever, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I'm like, okay, this is a big thing, whatever. So, I keep driving. So now I'm on my route from North Carolina back to Texas to get my bare necessities out of my building and try to move on with my life. So at some point on that road trip back to Texas, I realized I put more pieces together about the information that Gil had been trying to gather on me based on like replaying my conversations with him, and realized that, okay, so I'm definitely dealing with drug traffickers, because what else would they have been trying to put in my car? But am I also dealing with sex traffickers here? Because why did I have that dream? Now, when I was replaying that dream, and please, I apologize if I'm being too thorough here, but I just want to be, I've been this thorough pretty much every time I've had to retell all of this, but I just want to be as thorough as possible. So, the thing about that dream, because sex dreams happen, right? And I've always had a lot of dreams. But the thing about that dream that made me start to wonder, once I realized I was definitely being tracked, was that I had been wearing the exact same red dress in the dream. Like, when you have a dream and you're seeing yourself from the outer perspective, I guess. I was wearing the exact same red dress that I wore to sleep that night. So that tells me that's a little too real, right? And then I thought back, this is gonna be so gross, and I'm so sorry about the TMI, but I have to be as detailed as possible so that y'all understand how I knew for sure. I thought back to this horrible smell. Yeah, this horrible smell that had been in my car by that time. Ew. More on that later. This horrible smell that had already been in my car when I was still wearing that red dress. It's all so much. Sorry. So, I look a mess. These people are literally trying to ruin my life. I'm not gonna let it happen. Okay, so it's like, okay, if these people are drug traffickers, then why would they try to rape me? And then I thought back to the flash of light from the dream. And I thought, okay, so this was about pleasure, but if they're drug traffickers, then who's to say they're not sex traffickers too? So the rape was clearly about pleasure to some extent. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been Gil out there videoing it. The flash that I remember of someone holding a flash that night of April 18th of the first rape, it was definitely somebody that fit Gil's description. So I'm like, okay, that means they're making money off this somehow. And the fact that that gray van was following me at nighttime also kind of alerted me, like, why are they following me while I move? Like, you know, why are they following me while I'm moving at nighttime? So, at some point I put together like April 21st-ish, I put together that I had been raped and the rape was real and it wasn't a dream. Even though I didn't recollect the rape as such, and it had still been encoded to me as a dream, I realized, okay, well, you know, that was real. Taken into consideration with everything else. I continued to be followed. I continued to protect myself. Not at all feeling safe to just go back to sleep in my car. And people can say whatever they want, but when it comes to your body and the integrity of your body, and you can do something to prevent yourself from being raped in your sleep again, yeah, you're gonna do what you can do. And I was already a single woman looking out for my own safety. So I stopped once I realized that I had definitely already been raped, put together everything about my interactions with him and the methods that he was clearly using on me. I stopped at a hospital. I'm not going to say where. It was in a different state. At this point, it had already been 72 hours, almost 72 hours since the rape, because it took me that long to realize I had been raped. So I knew the clock was ticking, stopped at the ER. While I was in the city that I went to the ER in, after I left the ER, another man tried to follow me. For sure. Once I noticed that he was trying to follow me, I looped around to come right up behind him again, like not right behind him, but back into the parking lot that he tried to follow me out of. And he tried to follow me again, and I did the same thing again just to lose my tail. Oh God, my hair is looking kind of oily. Anyways, I'm like, oh fuck, like this is not good, you know, like these people are well connected. They are following me in multiple states. And the fact that I'm not interacting or engaging is not stopping them from following me or trying to engage me. So that was a huge deal, because it's like there's, you know, gangs that operate, okay, let's say any given city, there's like small neighborhood gangs that operate, right? And those are still gangs, that's still organized crime. But I knew I was not dealing with anything that small, not even close, which is not good at all. I finally make it back to Texas that Saturday, back to Stanford. As soon as I make it back to Stanford, I'm gonna stop here.